What's up, everybody? CryptoFur at steemit.com, Christopher Kalaikai, or Crystal Bear Kalaikai, I should say, at Facebook.com, and G underscore male underscore baby at Twitter.com. How you loving the markets today? I'm loving it. I'm loving it because I knew this was going to happen. I've known it for 6 months. I had my shorts positioned. I've been telling you guys that. You can go back 6 months in my videos and find out. I've been saying that all hell is going to break loose and we're going to get some crashing coming on. And a lot of people don't pay attention to what I'm saying. They don't think I know what I'm talking about. And so you get days like today. The Dow dropping 1,500 points in one session. My goodness. My goodness. And everyone's worried about cryptocurrencies. Alright, let me give you a reality check about what's going on today. Remember about a week ago I did a video about how people were buying cryptocurrencies on credit, and that's a no-no? Well, when they're doing that in cryptocurrencies, what do you think they're doing in all other markets? They're buying things on credit. Okay? We are going to see a change in our monetary system, and you better be prepared for it. It's an epic shift in our monetary system, and most people don't know it's coming. And the last time we experienced something like this was in the 70s, and Nixon took us off the gold standard, which was a big shift in a monetary system. We used to back our dollars with gold. Now the dollar's not backed by anything because France tried to shove their dollars into the window of the treasury and say, hey, we want to see, are you really backing it with gold? Take these dollars back and give us our gold. And when Nixon heard that, he shut the gold window, forever severing the dollar from gold. We were off the gold standard completely. And that was August 15th, 1971. Now, that was a change in the monetary system. And ever since, we had currency, fiat currency, that wasn't based on money. It was based on debt. So people had to borrow money to get the economy growing. And credit is a form of inflation. It expands the money supply because you may not have gotten your paycheck at work, but you can go out and go to a bank and borrow that money before you got your paycheck. So now you have the spending capabilities you didn't have before when it was just money that you had to earn and work for. And then President Clinton decided to deregulate the banking industry in a way where banks could now form with insurance companies and investment houses, and banks could now provide new types of assets, derivatives, which amp up the values, or the moves, I should say, of markets. And so the government always claims to make things safer for you by regulating, but the reality of it is they've made it a lot more dangerous for you. So you're going to see these violent swings now, just like in Bitcoin. And they're going to try to stop it when it crashes. They're going to try to lock your money down in the banks. When you try to get your money out, you won't be able to get your money out. So let's pray that this is not the final collapse. Let's pray that this is the warning, the pre-shock to the actual earthquake that's coming. And either way, like I said, I've been telling you guys for years to prepare. I look at my viewership on YouTube, and YouTube has screwed me royally, and they don't let my videos come out because of the, people looking for this kind of information shouldn't know it because it's inflammatory, it offends. But the reality of it is when people buy things on credit and they try to invest based on borrowing, and then that asset that they plowed their money into drops in price, and then their credit card bill comes in, because they were expecting to get rich right away, and they were expecting to pay off their credit card bill and then pocket the difference. Didn't work out that way. They plowed their credit into this asset that now dropped, which was cryptocurrencies. So guess what? A lot of people bought on credit. The market dropped. Their credit card bill's coming in, and now they're like, oh, shoot, I got to pay that bill. How am I going to do that? Plus, I lost money now, and they look around for things to sell. They always look for things to sell. So as a result, no matter what market you're in, you're going to feel the sell-off because credit has created such a problem. And the banks have made it so cheap. The central banks have made it so cheap to borrow money by dropping interest rates that they have fueled asset bubbles everywhere. Mike Maloney of goldsilvermoney.com, or I don't know the actual site, it's Gold and Silver is his business. I didn't actually look it up, so you might want to look it up. I do a Google search on Gold Silver Mike Maloney. Mike, M-I-K-E, Maloney, M-A-L-O-N-E-Y. He used to be a Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad advisor. He has been nailing things. I mean, he's been calling this the everything bubble. And the reason behind that is you get in an economy where there's no economic growth. Obama wanted to take credit for what's going on, what started in the first year of the Trump administration. But the reality of it is he had 8 years where he created a deflationary economy. He destroyed jobs. He destroyed businesses. I got videos of him saying, yeah, we're going to necessarily skyrocket the price of energy and bankrupt the coal industry. And then the Democrats want to come through and say, oh yeah, prosperity was created by the Obama administration and Trump is riding on the coattails. No, deflation or destruction of our economy occurred under the Obama administration. And what Trump is trying to do is trying to rebuild our economy on firmer ground. And like I've said in other videos, I love Donald Trump and what he's doing, but the reality of it is what Obama, what Clinton, what the Bush administrations have created is massive debt bubbles, or credit bubbles, I should say. The debt that people borrow to go invest. And investing is a longer term thing, whereas credit, the bill comes in next month. So credit is expensive. So when you're investing based on credit, that's trouble. And I know a lot of people who trade on margin. That's a very dangerous strategy. I do trade on margin as well, but I understand what margin does. Because if margin moves against you, you have potential to lose everything. Your shirt, your house, your car, more than you even own because you're borrowing it and it's leverage. So a loss can be leveraged so hard that it becomes so great that it gets out of your control. So when you use leverage, you really have to be conservative. I made a lot of money today. I'm sorry. If people lost money, that's capitalism. You got to know, you got to educate yourself and know when markets are going to crash. I positioned myself for a crash, and I've been saying it for a long time. And everyone I talk to for the last 6 months to a year looks at me like, you're such a negative person. You're so, you don't have any positivity in this future, so I don't need to talk to you anymore. And the reality of it is my negativity is actually realism. I see the problems that are going on, and I try to present it to people so that they can benefit like I did today and on Friday. Every time the market crashes, I'm looking good. I'm sitting pretty. The cryptocurrencies, yeah, I invested in Bitcoin at 12,000. I only bought a little bit because I knew it might come down more. It came down to 10,000. I bought a little bit more. And, I mean, honestly, I hope Bitcoin crashes to 2. I don't care if I lose a little bit of my investment going down because each time it goes down, that's a sale for me. And each time the stock market goes down, I was shorting it on the way down. I make more money that I can roll back into my cryptocurrencies. And then when people realize our monetary system is corrupt, the banking system is corrupt, that the banks require, there used to be a thing called free checking where you could have a minimum balance of 0 and you wouldn't be charged for having 0 in your account, just having your account open. And then it came to that point where the banks started getting more and more oppressive. First of all, they borrow your money by you depositing it in the bank. You think that you're just holding your money in the bank. No, the banks borrow your money. It's an investment. You're investing in the bank. And the bank pays you a pittance for that investment. So you get a little bit of interest off your bank account. What does the bank do? They lend out that money immediately to somebody else. So you don't realize it because if you come back to the bank, you want to take your money out. If you're just one person, the bank will give you your money. But they don't have all that money in the bank like you think. So if everybody came at once to try to take the money out, the bank wouldn't be able to give it to you because they've lent it out to other people. And the only way they would be able to get it back is if those people paid back those loans, then they could give it back to you. So on a small scale, if you came in one person and another person paid off their loan and you asked for, let's say, $1,000 out of your bank account, the bank will go, well, I just got a $10,000 loan back. I can give you your $1,000. Go ahead. And just keep the rest of your money in the bank account so I can keep lending it out. It's fractional reserve. And they say they're keeping it on reserve, but the reality of it is they take out 80% of the money that's in your bank account, lend it, or 90%, depending upon whether it's a savings account or a checking account, and your money's not there. Either either 20% or 10% of what your total deposit was is in the bank. So the bank does this thing where you deposit money and they do this thing called float, where they give you time. This money has to clear. We have to verify that the funds are there. Please, man. You know we're on an electronic system. So the moment the money is, and electronics is fast. You know, sending an email, the moment you hit send, it appears all the way across the world in somebody else's inbox. So the banks don't give me that garbage. It's such a con when they say we have to verify for 2 to 4 to a week, 5 business days, whether that money's there. The moment you deposit it, they know the money's there. They're just trying to buy that time so they can take your money, lend out most of it, so that if you decide to start using your money to pay expenses, it'll take you a couple days before you actually start doing that. So they bought that float time for them to lend that money out, and then when it comes back in, then you start paying your bills. You won't even notice that it was gone originally. So the banks are a con. The banking industry is a con as a whole, and they've made it so cheap for you to borrow money so that they can make money off of lending. Nothing has changed since 2008. The only thing that's changed is it's gotten worse. They knew they got away with it. They were able to use the government, because the communists like to have government control everything, because the communists think that government protects them. But what government really does is it becomes fascist, and it supports everyone who will get the politicians reelected. And the communists always talk about lobbyists, but they don't realize anybody making money is a lobbyist. And if you're a communist and you're not making money, you're voting for your own enslavement by voting for more government, because the government supports this activity by banks, by everything. And we're starting to see it through the FISA situation, where we're finding out even our law enforcement agencies, our head law enforcement agencies, the alphabet organizations, the CIA, the NSA, FBI, the DOJ, they are doing illegal things to try to control who gets elected and who doesn't. The people can't even choose anymore. So this is what I'm saying to you. Why do I like cryptocurrencies? Let everyone get out of them. I could give a shit. Sorry, my friends, my French. Yeah, sorry about that. But let everyone get the fuck out of it. Get out, because you don't belong there. You don't understand what it is. You don't respect what it is. It is a chance for people to be free from this corruption. Because in a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, trust is not an issue. When you're dealing with a bank in the middle and another person here and you, there's always trust. Is this person going to deliver the goods when I pay them the money? Or if you're a seller, is this person going to pay you when you deliver the goods? And is the bank going to have the funds available, or is it going to go bankrupt? You have trust issues with the current system, and the new system is the cryptocurrency system, which can be the mark of the beast. Currently, we are already on the mark of the beast. It's called the dollar system, the ACH transfer system, the AB routing system, SWIFT system in the banking system. That is all the mark of the beast. Even internet, as it is currently, is the mark of the beast. Because look at right now, you're seeing me on a camera. Who else is seeing me on the camera? You tell me the government can't see me on the camera? Are you telling me Facebook can't watch me when I'm naked in my room and I have my laptop sitting on my desk looking at my bed? They can't turn on my camera remotely and watch me and watch you? My message is to you. We are on the beast system already. Look at it. If you don't pay your credit card bill, they shut off your credit. If you don't pay your banking fees and they overdraw you, they will. There's a bank credit check system that they years ago I read about. I don't know if it's still the same system, but it used to be that if you were constantly in a deficit in your bank account, you owed money to the bank because you overdrew your account, and they charged you additional fees to really put you in the hole, and you never refilled it back to zero or above, they would put you on a credit check system that's specifically for the banks, so that if they closed your account and you tried to go to another bank to reopen an account, you can't open a new account. I don't know if it's still that way, but that's the way it used to be, and I'm pretty sure the banks are oppressive enough to keep it that way. So we're already on the Revelations beast system, where everything is tracked, everything is manipulated, and if you piss off the system, they cut you off, they shut you down, and you are homeless, you are bankrupt, You can't get another job. You got a credit check in your history, so if you go to get a job, they'll look back, oh, you owed a bank a whole bunch of money, so we're not going to hire you because you're not faithful with money. So the employer will look at that credit history and go, yeah, you're a thief. If you're a criminal, it's probably impossible to get a job unless you know the owner of the business, and in which case, if you steal from them, then you've screwed yourself. So in a lot of ways, though, coming from a Christian perspective, if you're in that kind of situation, you brought it on yourself. You were not responsible, and you were not a good steward with the finances, the great talents internally and intellect that God gave you. You squandered it. But that doesn't mean that you should never be part of this society again. The devil's the only one who continually punishes you, over-punishes you for mistakes that you've made. And the devil is currently running our system in the evil politicians, the evil bankers, the evil business people, the evil law enforcement people that are currently using the system and manipulating the system to gain more and more power and control over all of us. And to make it one world so that it's not just, oh, we control the United States, or, oh, we control Europe, oh, we control Asia. It's now, we control the world. We control the world. It's one world. All herd these sheep and these cattle into one spot. So what do? They release news to confuse everybody. Bitcoin is a bubble. But the stock market wasn't. The bond market wasn't. We don't see those things. We don't see that on the news. I don't see 50 articles that, oh, look, the stock market bubble is finally crashing. No, it's the Dow drops 1,500. What do we do? It's not like the Bitcoin. When Bitcoin drops 1,500 points, oh, the bubble's bursting. It's over for cryptocurrency. But the Dow drops 1,500 points, oh, the Dow is crashing. But it's the same thing. People bought on credit, and now they are doing what's called capitulating. They are capitulating because they lost money. When the asset dropped, they got to pay back their bills. They capitulate. They got to sell any other asset that they have in order to finance the other investment things that they've done or the bills they owe. So they'll sell gold because gold has gone up. So gold will get a sell-off. You may see a little bit of a rally because a lot of people don't even look at gold anymore. They think that gold is a ancient relic. And so what happened in 2008 is gold got punished because people capitulated in gold in order to pay their bills. They capitulated in silver to pay their bills. So a lot of people got burned in gold and silver because they heard from Austrian economists like me that gold and silver were historically good stores of wealth, and I believe they still are. I believe they're even more valuable today because they have the banking system has used derivatives to suppress the prices of gold and silver to the point where gold and silver are so freaking cheap that there's going to be a massive shortage, because when prices are low, if you are a producer of gold and silver, as I've said in past videos, you won't put it out there because you're going to lose money. It costs you more to draw gold and silver out of the earth and to process it and make it into a nice shiny bar and to assay it so that you can certify that it's 99% fine, 9.99999% fine, right? That you're not going to bother, because if you go to try to sell it, it may have cost you this to make it, but if you sell it, you're only going to get this. Screw that. You automatically lose the moment you bring it to market. So why even bother producing it? Best thing you can do as a gold producer is just buy the land and hold it. Test the land. Make sure you know, okay, there's a crap load of gold and silver in the ground. I'm just going to sit on this land until the price goes up. They may wait 20, 30, 40 years, but who cares? If you paid, let's say you bought the land on a tax sale for $100 from the county. Somebody didn't pay their property tax on it. You paid the back taxes for like $100. You bought like 40 acres of gold, prime gold and silver land for $100. That was your cost, $100. All you have to do is keep paying your property taxes each year for the next 20 years. All right, so your total cost, let's say it ends up being $10,000. And then at the end of that period of time, the gold and silver assets skyrocket in price, and you start producing them, and you make millions off of a minimal investment. That's the way to go. Why even bother producing it? And countries like China and Russia, all these countries where they've used credit to build their economies. China's got ghost towns that they've built. It's like Los Angeles, they replicated it in certain parts of China. They've replicated New York. They've replicated all the great cities around the world because China's great at counterfeiting. And they used counterfeit yuan, their own currency, to do it. So they floated credit out, and they built these ghost cities where there's nobody. Not a single person is living in them. It's just an empty city. Full infrastructure, beautiful cities, but nobody lives there because there's nobody wanting to go there. Who wants to live in a communist country? Until they deregulate. If they deregulate their communist mentality and they become full-on capitalist and they stop oppressing people, people from around the world will fill those buildings. But currently, as it is, they've artificially inflated their gross domestic product, their production, saying that, when you produce a house, that's production for your country, right? But usually there's someone to buy it, right? They artificially produced, but there's no one to buy it, but they still put it on the balance sheet that, oh, I made something. So GDP shows that we've grown, even though there was no transaction there, and the houses are sitting dormant, and the cities are ghost towns. Those countries, their currencies are going downhill, and their economies are going downhill because they're faking it. So what do they have to do? They're looking at gold and silver to preserve their wealth because they still understand that those are wealth preservers. And I'm a silver stacker myself because I think silver someday is going to be more precious than gold, because of what they've done through the financial markets with derivatives. They have flattened the prices so much that governments around the world that need that money to preserve their wealth will buy it. They will buy all the gold and silver from any place that suppresses the price. And there it is, it's gone. They bought all the gold and silver. The producers who have it in the ground are not producing it until the price goes up. And so the supply of actual bars are gone. They're out of the country. If you didn't buy it when I told you, that's not financial advice. It's wisdom. You have to decide for yourself. When I give you ideas, you go educate yourself. I educated myself. That's why I jumped in. I saw the timing of it. I saw the problems. I understood it, and I got in. I'm feeling pretty good about my future. Of course, in a hurricane, if you're in a neighborhood and you shore up your house, and the neighbors don't, when the hurricane comes through and destroys all the homes around you, and yours is still standing, when you walk out the front door and you find your neighborhood's gone, everyone's going to hurt from this. But at least you still have a house, right? You still have running water, especially because the rest of the neighbors don't even have a house. So they're not going to be using the water. In fact, your water pressure is going up. So I've made money today, but ultimately what I'm saying to you is it doesn't matter. We're all going to hurt. And this is what the evil bankers, the evil, corrupt government people don't understand. The more they manipulate markets, the more they hurt people, the more they're going to hurt themselves. What profiteth a man to gain the world and lose his soul in the process? That's the Bible telling you that if you make all the money in the world, but you bankrupted everybody else, you're not going to be happy. You think you've got power. You think you've got wealth. But when everybody's trying to kill you because you took their money, they're trying to rob you if they don't have any and they see you got a crap load of money, they don't like you because you don't understand their struggle and you're always happy and they're not. And you never did anything to try to teach people or to help them get wealthy. You're screwed. You freaking evil Satanist people who work in government and in banking and finance industry. You're screwed when you do that. You better have a lot of money to be building a mansion in Antarctica, which I think that's what a lot of these guys are doing. They're going down to Antarctica where it's freaking freezing. It's an ice desert where they can create their own mega rich elite city in the ice caps. And no one else really has any desire to go down there. They don't have the money to put the clothes to go attack them. They're going to retreat to their bunkers in Antarctica, where the penguins, the emperor penguins, just come down. They get to watch them every day. You stupid idiots. You've destroyed the world and you're going to go to your bunker. And so basically you put yourself in a cell. Put yourself in your own jail cell. Because you don't have the beautiful weather. You're going to be in a freezing temperature. You're going to be in a vault. You may be there with a bunch of other rich people and you're going to have great banquets and all. But you're trapped indoors because you can't go to the beach. You jump in the water, you'll freeze to death. That's how elites think. They're so corrupt. They are so psychopathic that they don't understand that we're all connected. spiritually. The devil is in there. They worship the devil. They worship death. This is why they support abortion. They support everyone getting robbed. They don't realize they're robbing themselves. And you go to the other side when you die, it's not going to be pretty for you. It'll be warmer. So if you spend all that time in the cold Antarctica, when you die, you go to the warmer place. It's going to be a lot of fire forever. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so maybe you'll go through the pain of the cold so that when you die, the rest of eternity, you'll be in front of a fireplace. You'll be in the fireplace for the rest of eternity. You better find Jesus. You better find Jesus soon. You better use his lessons to protect yourself, to change your ways, to change your heart. If you really want to have one world, we can only have one world under the rule of Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ and God are different. They don't come out and show themselves the way the actors, the politicians, the sports stars come out and use their position. Some of the church leaders even do that. They use their position, their station in life, to preach false gospel, to gain power for themselves and wealth and fame and notoriety to themselves. But they're all the while spreading a message that will lead to the destruction of everybody, including themselves. Better find Jesus, because I'm telling you, the end will not be good for you. But if you find Jesus, even in this world where markets are crashing, Jesus is more precious than silver and gold, because my life here on this planet is short. I give up everything I have for Jesus Christ. If I lost all my wealth, I don't care. Jesus is the greatest thing you can have. So that when you die, eternity, you are like God. You are with God. You are one with God. You are one with the Father. You are one with the Son. You are one with the Holy Spirit. So if you're lonely, if you're depressed about what's going on in life, your mind's not right. If you're not seeing what the evil people are doing and you're becoming a victim of it, if you haven't learned your lessons, your mind's not right. If you want to commit suicide over this, big time no. No. And I can say that. A lot of people will point fingers at me and say, don't judge people who commit suicide. I have absolutely no respect for people who commit suicide. First of all, that is the work of the devil when you commit suicide. You do not own yourself. You belong to God. Your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, so you must take care of that temple. You must take care that the Spirit stays within you and you don't destroy it, because it is not yours. It is lent to you so that you can manage it properly. And if you take it, that is the devil telling you to do that. And what happens to you on the other side is not good. And if people point the finger at me and say, don't judge, I've been there. I hit rock bottom earlier in my life. I contemplated suicide. And then I also thought, I looked in the mirror with a gun in my mouth, and I thought to myself, if I pull the trigger, who buries me? Because I'm not going to be around to do it. And then I've thought of my mother, my father, my brother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, everyone having to now take up the burden of either cremating me or putting me in a casket, buying a casket. Go price the price of a coffin. How much does a coffin cost? Paying for ministers and embalming and a burial plot and all the funeral costs. I mean, a hospital expense is probably cheap compared to a funeral. That's why people have to do GoFundMe accounts. So committing suicide is the most selfish thing you could do if you are depressed. Because I got news for you. We all got major problems. All of us. We got to deal with. And if you're a man and you commit suicide, to me, you need to man up. Get some balls and take care of your business. I've hit rock bottom before. I've been in debt before. President Trump is someone to look up to. He's been in debt beyond most of us. He's had more debt than most of us will ever make in dollar terms in our entire life. Our entire salary of our life never will equate to the amount of debt that President Trump has been in at one time. And he got out of it. And he didn't commit suicide. He's a very strong man. He became president in the face of insurmountable odds. A very strong man. Take that as your role model. Jesus Christ is another role model. He tried to save people, and what did we do? I consider myself we, because we're all sinners. We crucified him for giving a message that could have saved everybody. But not everybody accepts that message. And even this message I'm giving today, somebody's going to point a finger and say, you don't have a point to judge. You're right. I don't have any right to judge. I only have a right to tell you what God has told me he's going to do to judge you if you do that. God is the final judge. I'm not judging. My message is strong and stern because you can't unscramble eggs. If you take your life, you can't unscramble that. You don't get it back. That is a final, ultimate, terminal decision. So you really need to think that one through. And it should never be taken. Money, all these things that I talk about, preserving your wealth so that you and your family can eat, your money goes out the window. There are other ways of making money. You can steal it, which is not right, but you can still do that. But you're still alive. You can earn it. You can work your butt off. Maybe make a pittance, but you're still alive. You can invest it and get lucky and maybe make $1 billion. You're still alive. But if you pull that trigger, lights out. And you better be sure where you're going on the other end, because I can assure you there is a spirit world. You may not be a spiritual person. You may not have ever seen a ghost. You may not have ever had anybody tell you this, but I have seen ghosts. I have recorded ghosts. I have a YouTube channel where I've even posted videos of the ghosts in my house. I should actually take those videos and upload them here so when people come to this channel they can see it. But I'm a ghost hunter. I believe in the ghosts and I've seen them, and it has really made my faith in God stronger, my Catholic faith. And regardless of what Catholic priests do, or regardless of whether the Pope is doing what he's supposed to do, I know that Jesus created the church on St. Peter. That is the only place that will give you salvation, the only way and truth and path to the Father. And there's no other way to the Father but through God. So if you're in a part of a church and Jesus did not found your church directly, if a man founded your church, you are following principles of men. And you better reconsider that. And if you haven't found God yet, but you're willing to go out and do all the evil things that worship the devil, you've found the devil. And when you die, you're going to find him face to face. I'm hoping that I am a good enough person where I see God face to face. Because even as a Catholic, I'm not, my theology in my church teaches you can be Catholic in name, but if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're still going down there. So we're not assured of our salvation. The only thing we can be assured is that God has provided it for us. And now it's up to you. Will you accept that gift? Will you take that gift when God has given it? Or will you give it back? Or will you tear it apart, trample it underfoot, and turn and tear God to pieces? You can't tear God to pieces. You can do it when he wraps himself in human flesh. You can rip the flesh off of him, but you cannot rip the spirit. The spirit is eternal. And whether it's an evil spirit or a good spirit, that's where you need to find out. Where do you stand? So if you're a psychopath that likes to kill people, likes to steal money from them, likes to benefit from the harm of other people, you think you're benefiting, but in reality, what you're doing to others, you're actually doing to yourself. Because we're all connected spiritually. So there's my preaching. My Pastor Chris preach. I don't even like pastor stuff. That's garbage. But the reality of it is that is the gospel. The good news of Jesus Christ is that bad things happen like today. Where you get market capitulation because people have overextended themselves places they shouldn't have gone, and now they're suffering for it. But yea, though I walk through the dark valley, I fear no evil. For God is at my side, because he's taught me that I shouldn't go down that path, and I'm safe from it. Okay? So, that's my message for you today. The good news is bad things happen, but as long as you're alive, you have a chance to get to heaven. God be with you guys. And my sympathies to you if you've lost your entire life's fortune. You've lost everything. My sympathies to you. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. I've been through divorce. I've been through theft. I've been through a lot of things where people have stolen and taken from me things that I felt were secure. and I was in rock bottom. I was upside down, owing money, suicidal. But I made the right choice because the storm passed and the sun is shining again. So before you decide to take that final step off that balcony, off that bridge, before you pull that trigger, before you pull that knife, before you tighten that noose and drop to the floor, you need to think about the treasures you have. You are rich if you are alive. You are rich if you have health. You are rich if you have family. And you need to recognize that you need God. With God, you are abundantly wealthy. And so, find your solution. I'm giving you some options now. I'm telling you, educate yourself. Look into these other things that I mentioned. And if you are successful, if you decide to follow what I do, use that wealth for the glory of God. Use that wealth to rebuild the kingdom so that we all benefit. And even the bankers, when the bankers fall and they're being punished, have mercy on them. Have mercy on them. Do not be happy about what they did because they really messed up this world. But we must keep an eye on everybody. The Mark of the Beast system has great potential in decentralized blockchain, hash graph, whatever the cryptocurrency technology network will be in the future. It has great potential to come to fruition as the Mark of the Beast or the system of the beast if we fall asleep and allow those powers to be that come over and always try to take control of those networks. If they get control of those networks, it's over for all of us because it's decentralized now and there's no way you'll be able to track who is doing the evil to you. And they don't care who you are because now you're a nameless number in the decentralized system. So they screw all the nameless numbers. All the nameless numbers get screwed except their own number. And that will be the number of the beast. And so now, and they're giving you that signal in the stock market when it drops 665 and some points. If you round up, it's 666. And today again, 1500. 1 plus 5 equals 6. 1 plus 5 plus 0 plus 0, if you add up all the digits, equals 6. They're using that 666 number all the time to show you that they are evil and that they're working. And if you're not awake to the spirituality of that, you're lost. You're going to get screwed by the beast. So find Jesus quick. Find Jesus quick and find out what you need to know to survive what they're doing and to leave it. Let us do the Atlas Shrugged thing, where who is John Galt? If you know who John Galt is, you got your own society away from what's happening now. You separate yourself from that system, and you will be fine. Pray to God that He takes care of all of us and provides for us and comforts us, heals our wounds, protects us from the arrows of the devil, and you will turn out fine. God love you.